All right, guys, and I don't know if it's you, Randy, up, but go ahead.
It's Travis. Um, your defense comes up with 3 stops there in the fourth quarter, any one of which could have ended the game. I guess what for you in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think, Travis, you broke up a little bit, but I think you're talking about the defense and obviously at the end of the game. And, I just think the reality of this entire team, backs, we felt like we're against the wall almost all game. And quite honestly, I feel like that's where we've lived in this program for the last 5 years. So, I think we understand that. We just keep playing. We don't look at the scoreboard. And the reality is, we try to put ourselves in the best position to give us a chance to win the game. And, we did that today. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I wouldn't say that it was our best football game. I thought our detail was just okay. But when we needed to make plays, and I do think that's what really good teams do, we had the opportunity to make plays, and we made them.
When it comes to that, to making the plays, Jaquan gets the stuff on fourth down near the goal line. Bankston with the sack there on third down. What allowed those guys to come up and make those big plays in critical moments?
Well, yeah, I think it's a little bit of who they are. Jaquan Bailey, can we say any more about a senior in this program that has really stood for what's right and has grown as much as he's grown from day one to where he is? And, I think Randy's talked about it a lot. That young man's growth is what our football program should stand for. I think that part's really huge, and it's allowed him to be outstanding at his senior year. Latrell, dynamic football player. We had Isaiah Lee down, and, hopefully we'll get Isaiah back here soon. But, I thought, both Latrell and Josh Bailey, another senior, really stepped up and played good football for us today.
Matt, if somebody would have told you that going into year 5 that you would play in the Big 12 championship game, what would you say?
Yeah, Randy, you and I have talked about this a bunch too. I don't think we put any goals and expectations other than, man, can we, I've said this a lot, not be the lacking stock of college football, and I think a lot of the ways, and it took me a while once I got here to figure out kind of what we were from a perception standpoint. And then, how do we do a great job of giving this program consistency and an opportunity to become the best version of ourselves we can be. And, I think it's ironic that this senior class is the one we recruited here when, we were 3-9. We didn't have a whole lot to sell. And these young men believed in us enough to come here and have been an anchor of creating the positive change in our football program. Man, Travis, if that's you, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Yep, Travis, you're. I hear Randy, but I can't hear you.
Matt, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Travis.
What separates this team for winning games like this from other teams that you've had, do you think?
Oh, I just think that this group, and to be honest with you, we wouldn't be here without the senior groups of the past. We've learned so much along the way, and when you start at square one, and it's hard to go back to, some of the traditional pieces of, man, how do you do it? And, obviously Coach Mack was such a great anchor here and, gave hope to this program. And, obviously what they did in the 70s with Coach Bruce and, Johnny Majors, there were some pillars to build on. But, some of these moments I think we had to learn the hard way. And the greatest thing that has allowed this team and really our coaching staff and probably myself in general is to put ego away, really evaluate and try to figure out how do you chart a course to become the best version of yourself you can be. And I think every group has given us a chance to grow every year, and I think this group's been able to take some of the lessons we've learned, positive and negative, and really apply them to becoming the best version of themselves that they can be.
Matt, Brees that probably had his toughest 90 yards or whatever it was he had today of the season. That last play, the game-winning play right through the middle of the line. What was that? The call there was that it pretty much?
Yeah, I mean, that was it. We wanted to put the ball in his hands, and probably hindsight's always 20/20, but got down there a couple of times, and either we our deal is when you get down that close, man, the ball's got to go in his hands. We had a tough false start down there in the first half that was precision based. That we just didn't do what we needed to do. But I think for us, we believe in Brees Hall as much as anybody, and give a lot of credit to Texas too. I mean, that's the best defensive front that we've faced up until this point, and they do an outstanding job.
Matt, on fourth down with about 4.5 minutes to go, right around the 42-yard line in that area, you punted. Can you go through your thought process of that?
Yeah, we had after they made a couple big plays, and they've got great players, so they'll make big plays. But I really felt like our feet were underneath us, and so having those 3 timeouts in our back pocket really gave me confidence to say, what, let's try to do a great job of pinning these guys down, and let's give ourselves a chance to win this game here at the end.
Texas came out, started quick, Matt. I mean, what changed there quickly for you guys?
Well, I think the speed of the game was quick early on. You got to remember we're playing on a short week for us. I think for us just kind of getting our feet underneath us, I really felt like early a lot about our kids of, listen, we got to weather the storm early, and I thought we did, But again, I think what they did is a credit to them, and having obviously dynamic. Most respect for Cameron Dicker. I think he's as talented as anybody maybe in the country, and I mean what that kid did was give him a chance to go win his sake of it. But man, I think he was the punter today on top of the kickoff guy, on top of kicking field goals. That's a really special football player, and he certainly gave his team a chance to win. Thank you.
Hey, Matt, winning a challenging game like that, is that just testimony for winning on the margins, you think?
I mean, Max, I mean, it really is. And, I think for us, the guts of this team to come on a short week, play a team like Kansas State who's physical, then come down here and play a physical Texas team. I just think that the guts of this team, we needed all of it. And, those margins were big because there were some marginal moments in the second half that we were able to win that we didn't win in the first half. And probably my only being upset a little bit is, we didn't play as efficiently in the detail as I expected us to play. And we got to figure out how and why, and then, go make really good corrections to that.
There'll probably be a lot of talk about some of the mistakes Texas made late. You'll see people talk about that. But did you think the toughness of your guys over those last 4 minutes just really showed up?
Well, I would say this from my end. It is still about mental toughness. And, I mean, and I'm not just talking our team, Max. I think if you're a football team that's playing good football right now and you're playing in meaningful games, then what this year has been for these kids from March on, I don't know if it's being written about enough or if it's a reality enough. These are 18 to 22-year-old kids. This isn't the National Football League. They're not getting paid to play. And the mental challenge of what this season has been on every one of these 18 to 22-year-olds is, man, it's been gut-wrenching. And I feel for a lot of them. And, to be able to stay the course, it certainly serves a sense of mental toughness. And, we still got a long road to hoe. Can we still continue to stay the course? And, those challenges at times can feel overwhelming. But I think our kids have done an incredible job of staying the course.
Matt, speaking of staying the course, my last question here for me is, what do you expect this week in practice leading up to the West Virginia game?
Well, I think I'd be really disappointed if we didn't get on the plane, flush it, enjoy, the fact that we were able to win, and then by tomorrow be ready to sit and dissect it and say, man, what didn't we do well? What do we need to get better at, and how do we continue to improve? I think that's the story of this team. Is this team has gotten better each and every week, and again, there's still a lot to do and a lot to play for. And the fact of the matter of it is, you play another super talented football team coming to Jack Trice next week. So if we want to continue to grow and have a chance to be the best version of ourselves we can be and reach our full potential, then we'll have to come back and take that same mindset.
I'm good. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt, last one. How was the celebration in the tiny locker room?
Yeah, I think for me a little bit emotional just because how much I really do care about these kids, and I really care about our senior class. And like I said, Max, I think so fitting here at Iowa State for this senior class to continue to lead really positive change in what the national narrative of Iowa State football is. And, it's a group that's really been a pillar and a rock for us since they came on campus.